was quite eventful. I fell through a black hole, but I didn't die. I came out of a white hole, which I've since tracked on my ship map. I found some sort of Nomai warp station, which warped me back to Brittle Hollow. So that suggests that all these white pads I'm finding around the solar system are in fact warp pads. But so far, that station is the only place I've been able to warp from. I'm going to go back there to grab that projection stone so I can finish translating the Nomai discussion around warp travel. They were debating the plausibility of arriving at the warp receiver before departing. The readings I saw on their gauges seemed to indicate that's what happened to me as well, but that doesn't make any sense. It was such a small time difference, but they were sure their readings were accurate. And even if it is a small time difference, the implications are enough to make my head hurt. Okay, coming up on the white hole now. It blends in so well with the stars. I never knew this was here. There's that station. I guess I'm leaving my ship behind, but then again, I'll get it back in the next loop. Makes this a one-way trip. The way the light refracts around the hole is wild. I've never seen one up close like this. Just the small ones on the warp pads. This is massive. Whoa. Whoa. I can't go back that way, I knew that. There's already debris floating around from Brittle Hollow. I better steer clear before I get hit by a piece of falling planet. I guess I'll park it anywhere. Hey, look at that. Not bad. Okay, I just need to activate this station again to get it moving. It seems like the warp pad needs to be aligned with its destination. And right now, this thing is stationary and it's not pointing at Brittle Hollow. Here we go. Last time I warped, I didn't get a good look overhead. I'm gonna try to wait this time. Yep, there it is. Don't want to forget this. Okay. Now I just have to wait. To think such a small artifact powers something as big as warping across the solar system, or perhaps even farther. Not too much longer now. It's peaceful out here, on the edge of the solar system. It's quiet. Here we go. Whoa. I don't know if I'll ever get used to that. Let's see if the gauges say the same thing as last time. I'm sure the time will be different, but the delta... Yep, departure time. It's definitely after the arrival time. I wish I could bring this to Hornfels or anybody else, but certainly they need more than 20 minutes to solve this problem. Let's see what the Nomai have to say. Hi. Raimi and I reviewed the records you sent, Poke, and they appear to show Nomai are arriving at the warp receiver on Brittle Hollow slightly before departing from the White Hole Station. As I've already told Raimi, these measurements can't be accurate. How can a Nomai arrive on Brittle Hollow before he or she ever stepped into the teleporter? The implications are absurd. Poke, I don't disagree. It would mean I've inadvertently broken several fundamental theories regarding this universe. We would have to reconsider all of our beliefs about the nature of time. Raimi, yes, I hope so too. Poke, as Pi is confident the reading is inaccurate, she's kindly helping me attempt to recreate this phenomenon at the High Energy Lab. We're designing an experiment to take more data. Pi, an update, Poke. The High Energy Lab is in the canyon on Ember Twin's equator. Come here at once. You need to see this. Poke, I understand it's exceedingly odd, but Clary and I have tested and retested the equipment, and the result is the same every time someone warps. Raimi, the interval is incredibly minuscule, roughly 100,000th of a second. Do you suppose our instruments can't accurately measure time to such a small degree? I've been just outside the High Energy Lab. At least now I know a little bit more about what they're trying to do there, or at least what they're testing, but I don't know what they discovered as a result of the tests. Yep, I was here. Good thing those can't prick me here. I need to get into that lab. I still have plenty to explore here, though. One thing at a time. And again, they just died where they sat. So many mysteries. Well, plenty of time to solve them, I guess. For now. I just hope I can get all the answers. Rybek's camp was at the equator, but I'm on the pole right now. Let's see if there's anything else around here. There's that moon again. So many stars are dying. Yeah. Sit tight, Feldspar. I haven't forgotten about you. Felix, has anyone observed the phantom moon that sometimes greets us in the night sky? Your thoughts interest me. Plume, I'm interested in your playful moon. Is it much like its violent friend, Hollow's lantern? Thatch, imagine if there were two volcanic moons. Plume, then I imagine there'd be none of us left. Felix, hypothesis, there can exist too much lava. Thatch, I'd strongly prefer we test the null hypothesis. Felix, this moon isn't volcanic, to my unaided eyes. Sometimes it leaves its friend Hollow's lantern for nights at a time. Plume, the nights the moon circles this planet appear random. It seems to travel as it likes. Thatch, I compliment your eyes. How do you imagine it disappears? Hypothesis, could it be a shift in the light spectrum? Plume, suppose this moon is too shy to show us its face. So it seems like the two Nomai tribes both took great interest in the quantum moon. The ones that landed on Ember Twin even built a tracker and identified all the locations where it appears. And they hypothesized a sixth location beyond our solar system that they were unable to track. I wonder how long these two tribes were separated from one another. I'm trying to piece together a timeline in my head, but there's so much I haven't explored yet. surface. Wait a minute. Is it running water? Is this feeding into the surface somewhere? I can definitely hear it. The water's definitely flowing somewhere. Wait, there's a hole there. I wonder if I can fit. I don't see a better way in without hiking down to the equator, and I'm running out of oxygen. Okay, plenty of room. And there's stairs. This must be a designated shortcut for them. But where am I now? Still on the North Pole. That tree's no good. I need to get to some fresh ones. Take me down, gravity. Oh, okay. Now I can relax. Relatively speaking, of course. Whoa. This must be the more permanent settlement they were talking about building. This is the northern glacier they were referring to. And this looks a lot more stable than where I was last time. Oak. I feel strange, trying to recreate Anona's warp core without him. At times, it still feels strange to no longer be his very young apprentice, and for the black hole forge to be in my care and not his. Hypothesis, this will always feel strange. Even though my time with him was short, I miss my old mentor, and deeply. To have the chance to try is thrilling, but I don't want to disappoint everyone. I think I can do this, probably, but what if excitement has clouded my assessment of my own abilities? Still, all I can give is my best, and as Anona would say, should my best prove insufficient, then we will find another way to achieve what's needed. I have Clary and Root in the forge, and I have my clan. I am not alone. Was I wrong in volunteering to build it? I was born in this star system and never saw Anona's warp core with my own 3 eyes. I only know what he taught me. What if I've bitten off a larger portion than I can consume? So this clan definitely spanned multiple generations here. They made our solar system their home. I wonder how many times people fell in there. I mean, would it kill them to make these walkways a little bit safer? And there's another warp receiver. All the way up there. That's what looks like more gravity tiles. I don't think I'm getting up there without a warp pad. Or some feldspar level piloting. I don't even know about that though. Just gotta watch my step. The Ash Twin project requires a powerful, highly advanced warp core. How should we obtain it? Solution 1. We could retrieve the warp core from the vessel. Phlox. This would require a return to Dark Bramble. Plume, my father, said many good gnome I perished there. Psycat. My mentor, Calais, and his old mentor, once discovered and studied an anglerfish fossil on Embertwin. Using that knowledge, we could avoid the anglerfish entirely. Calais. What Melerai and I learned from that fossil would theoretically help us evade the anglerfish, but our hypothesis was never tested on a live specimen. I remember that anglerfish fossil. We used to play in Fossil Fish Cave when we were children. The vessel's warp core is broken. At best, recall those present when the vessel crashed said it sustained lethal injuries. There's no guaranteed reward for this risk. Kanoi. Perhaps we should still repair it. My grandmother told me there was little time to assess the nature or extent of the damage. Cassava. Even if it no longer functions, the old core could be a valuable blueprint, provided we're able to transport it back here. Wait a minute. You're telling me there are live anglerfish inside Dark Bramble? How is Feldspar still alive? That definitely confirms where the fish in our museum comes from. Oh, great. Well, if Feldspar can make it there, then so can I. Probably. Solution 2. We could craft a new advanced warp core inspired by the vessel's warp core. Oh, wait, no. The greatest challenge here, I think, is we don't have the design for such a powerful core, or any of the original crafters of the vessel's core. Clary, no, but Poke was apprenticed to Anona, who created the original design, and our Black Hole Forge is adept at crafting simpler cores. Poke, I believe I can be of use here. The vessel's warp core was created before my time, but Anona explained many of his designs to me. Spire, abandoning the vessel's warp core and its casing means losing valuable knowledge. Midas, this is true. However, it's knowledge we have little hope of recovering. It would be best to relearn, I think. Idea, this is the safest path for our clan. Avens, is the safest path the best one? Our goal is worth the risk. Cassava, is it though? We've tried for so long to find something that I and others now believe might be impossible to find. If the search for the eye is a futile one, we should choose the option with the least potential for harm. Poke, I would very much like to craft such a powerful core. More relevantly, I believe the Black Hole Forge crew and I could recreate the basic design. So at the time of this writing, the Nomai have already established a base here and on Ember Twin, and they've reconnected to build this Ash Twin project. And they've built this Black Hole Forge here to build warp cores for their warp technology. But they need a more powerful warp core to make the Ash Twin project work. And Cassava's message seems to confirm that the project's goal is to locate the Eye of the Universe. And it's tied to the probe cannon because somehow the Ash Twin project is sending a signal to the probe cannon to fire every time the loop starts. There's still 2 burning questions I need to answer. What will I find inside the probe tracking module in Giant's Deep's core? And what did the Nomai learn in the high energy lab? So that's the forge. All the way down by the black hole. Stuff's falling in left and right. Yep, that's definitely a warp receiver. No sign of a sending warp, though. Gotta look for a black hole pad. Okay, so that brings the forge up. All the way to that warp pad. I've got to find the source for all of these warp receivers. Okay, well I know I'm not getting up there now. Let's see what else I can explore. I still need to visit Ryback. I'm running out of time though. Eye Shrine District? Black Hole Forge District? Meltwater District? And the School District? I must be in the Meltwater District now. So I can go up to the Eye Shrine or down to the school. Or across that bridge and out of the settlement. Let's go down first. shell now. Not much planet left. Time to move quickly. More ghost matter. Yeah, not going that way. It's enough to kill me for sure. Even the buildings that are still standing are crumbling. Is there anything up here? Gotta stop being so judicious with my jetpack fuel. It's a great way to get around quickly. I can go farther up, or I can go down. But my ghost matter detectors are going off down here. It's back in that building, so I'm safe over here. But nowhere else to go but up. I can see why they built under this glacier, though. It is pretty sturdy. The rest of the planet's crumbling, but so far so good up here. Okay, looks like I'm on the other side of the ghost matter now. Gotta keep moving. Just gotta be careful. That could be popping up anywhere. Doesn't take much to be lethal. I wonder if this is the school. There's a scroll. Lami, explanation of festivals. All the Nomai clans from all over the universe meet in one place to share what they've learned in science and art. It's called the festival. At some festivals, one clan's big discovery can mean all the Nomai get to advance too, like Anona's warp core, which made it so everyone can warp long distances and explore more. Each clan has a festival envoy to show their most interesting work. Our envoy was Thatch. A single festival could last a long, long time. We can't go because we're stuck here, but Felix says we used to go too. Felix, don't forget, festivals happen every 10 years. There's something strange about the writing. I noticed this on Giant's Deep too. The children's writing is so much bigger. It's interesting. Solanum, formation of this universe. No one knows how this universe was made, but one thing we do know is everything used to be very hot and very dense, tightly packed together. As this early universe expanded, it also cooled down. Once it had cooled down enough, particles were able to group together to form things like galaxies, stars, and planets. Since then, space has continued to expand at a faster and faster rate, which is hard to think about for too long without your brain hurting. This universe will keep getting colder and larger until one day the stars and the life they support will all die. That's scary to think about, even though Kanori tells me it won't happen in our lifetimes. But it'll happen in someone else's, someday. Oh no. I've been so focused on reading and learning, I walked past all these children. It died while in class. What happened to the Nomai? This is getting stranger and stranger. They didn't deserve this. None of them did, but definitely not the children. And they were brilliant, with such a great sense of community and scientific prowess. The more I learn about them, the more my heart aches. They were so committed to finding the eye of the universe. And from what I've gathered so far, I don't think they ever found it. Maybe I can complete their mission. Is that even possible? Am I supposed to? Is that why I'm stuck in this loop? It seems like the probe cannon never fired for them, but by some miracle it's firing now. Maybe there's still a chance it can be found. Not by the Nomai, but by the lowly Hearthian. It'd be quite the achievement for Outer Wilds Ventures. Okay, I definitely don't have much time left. See if I can get up to the Shrine District. As far as I go. Seems like there's a path into the forge itself. If it's raised, just gotta find a way to teleport to that warp pad. This is in worse shape than the other districts. I definitely need to watch my step. There's the eye. It's like they were worshipping it. Recording. Cassava, I imagine I've been hard on Poke again. This in turn means I've made things difficult for her sister, Clary. If Poke and I are oil and water, Clary is our emulsifier. She certainly makes us a better team than would mixing through shaking, although sometimes I would like to shake Poke. Jokes aside, suppose my own fear of never finding the eye prompted my argument with Poke. That would be immature of me. I should apologize. At least to Clary, who could then tell Poke. It's happening. We get a front row seat this time. I'm not afraid to die. Just gotta stay out of the black hole. You don't get this view every day. Well, I guess I do actually.